Dogs are family. A common dog owner ambiguous statement. So, a lot of families out there, there is a wife that is very much abused by the husband. Verbal abuse, sexual abuse, ignoring the wife's needs, just treating the wife terrible while the husband is off with other women, spending money on things other than the children. The husband might occasionally put the wife in the hospital. The cops have to be called, but then it's like, well, he's family. Well, he pays the bills or whatever. They got 100 excuses for him. As a kid, I saw this with my dad, and I saw this with the father of my youngest siblings. It was always like, well, he's family. Well, he's family. Well, we need to act different around him because he's drunk and he's mean and he's been drinking that liquor again, and everybody put your toys away and stuff like that. But he's family, you know. I've heard stories from women about how they've been abused, and there's tons of stories and even murder cases where these abusive men end up taking it too far, or sometimes they even get killed by another family member. But this reminds me of dog culture. You know, dogs are constantly killing our children and women. Children and women are the number one target of the abusive men, and they're also the number one target of dogs in our culture, especially pit bulls, but it's not limited to pit bulls. And what do dog owners constantly say? Well, they're family. Well, the kid might have triggered it. Well, the kid needs to learn how to act around a dog. You know, the kid needs to not move around the living room too fast. The kid needs to, you know, do this better, do that better, so that the abusive man doesn't yell. And it's the same thing with dogs. They call dogs family, and they call abusers family. And so I always hear this: dogs are family, dogs are family. Well, what kind of family is your dog when dogs are one of the most dangerous things for little kids? What kind of family is that? Whether or not your personal dog ever hurt a kid, the dog culture in general pushes out this huge lie of dogs being family, dogs being your sibling, and all these kids more and more being bitten in the face, more and more being told they need to act different so that they don't get bitten. And it's the same thing with an abusive person. They say, oh, that's family, you know, abuse happens, the bank account gets drained, etc., so on and so forth. Well, but they're family. Same thing with dog culture. Oh, my dogs are my family. My dogs are my family. That's just a lie. Even if your dog never hurts your kid the entire time that you have it, pushing that lie out on society affects dozens of other kids that see it. Dozens of other kids that will go put their face right up for a puppy kiss and get their nose ripped right out of their face. So it's propaganda. And this whole thing about family, if you compare the way they call dogs family and the way they call abusers in a family, it's the same thing. They both harm the women, they both harm the children, but society wants to sit back and be like, well, it's just family, you know, it's just family. Yeah, eventually the abusive husband probably has to go to jail. The cops show up for like the 6th time. Eventually the dog that bites people in the neighborhood, 2 or 3 bites later, many tax dollars later, it finally gets labeled a dangerous dog and finally gets put down, or in many cases gone to a shelter and rehomed to go bite another family. But yeah, this whole title of family when it comes to dog culture, it's just a label. It's just a pronoun to hide something evil. And hearing a dog owner say that my dog is family, that's just a red flag. It says they're not doing any critical thinking. And when you compare that type of labeling on other abusers in society, because dogs are abusive to humans, comparing that label, it just shows you dogs are not family at all. Dogs are abusers that get away with all kinds of stuff because they happen to have this label of family.